Hi, this is Tony and welcome back to BorderlineHR. Today I want to tell you about nonviolent communication and how implementing it could benefit you and people around you. Nonviolent communication is based on the principle of ahimsa, the natural state of compassion when no violence is present in the heart. Nonviolent communication, or NVC, is an approach to communication based on the principle of nonviolence. Nonviolent communication evolved from concepts used in person-centered therapy and was developed by clinical psychologist Marshall Rosenberg beginning in the 1960s and 70s. Notable concepts include rejecting coercive forms of discourse, gathering facts through observing, not evaluating, genuinely and concretely expressing one's feelings and needs, and formulating effective and empathetic requests. Nonviolent communication holds that most conflicts between individuals or groups arise from miscommunication about their human needs. This is due to coercive or manipulative language, which induces fear, shame, and guilt, among other things. These violent modes of communication, when used during a conflict, divert the attention from the participants away from their needs, their feelings, their perceptions, thus perpetuating the conflict. The basics of nonviolent communication involve expressing ourselves with clarity, compassion, self-responsibility, and the common good in mind, which is the opposite of violent communication. Violent communication involves threatening, ridiculing, judging, dehumanizing, blaming, or coercing others in order to get our way in the situation. Violent communication creates misunderstanding, pain, and disagreements. What violent communication is, in everyday relationship terms, is a way of thinking and speaking that gets in the way of the connection. It can also lead to anger, shame, guilt, depression, and, in extreme cases, emotional or physical violence. There are 4 components to practice nonviolent communication. These are the facts, what we're seeing, hearing, touching, as distinct from our evaluation of its meaning and significance. NVC discourages static generalizations. It is said that when we combine observation with evaluation, others are apt to hear criticism and reject what we are saying. Instead, a focus on observation specific to time and context is recommended. These are our emotions or sensations, free of thought and story. Feelings are said to reflect whether we are experiencing our needs as met or unmet. Identifying feelings is said to allow us to more easily connect with each other. Allowing ourselves to be vulnerable by expressing our feelings can help solve conflicts. These are universal human needs as distinct from particular strategies for meeting needs. It is said that everything we do in service of our needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a motivational theory in psychology. It's represented by a 5-tier model of human needs, often depicted as hierarchical levels within a pyramid. Needs lower down must be satisfied before the needs higher up can be addressed. The needs are physiological, safety, love and affection, belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. Requests are distinguished from demands in that one is open to hearing a response of no without triggering an attempt to force the matter. If one makes a request and receives a no, it is not recommended that one gives up, but that one empathizes with what is preventing the other person from saying yes, and only afterwards decide how to continue the conversation. It's recommended that requests use clear, concrete, positive action language. Taught attitudes include self-connection. We relate to ourselves and the world from a still place within, a place of truth, clarity, peace, and compassion. Honest expression. We express ourselves vulnerably and without criticism or blame. We reveal our feelings and needs and ask for what we want without demanding. Empathetic presence. We listen to others with a silent mind and an open heart. Our sole purpose is to connect to the speaker by understanding his or her feelings and needs deeply, without judgment. We attempt to remain empathically present, even when we're the target of criticism or blame or other such forms of communication. Self-empathy, when we're no longer able to be present to the other person, we take a time out to vent our judgments in the privacy of our own minds. We identify and connect with the unmet needs in a given interaction, and we mourn the pain of unmet needs. We use self-empathy also to mourn and heal from disappointment or loss, to celebrate needs met, or simply to understand ourselves more fully. Once we experience an organic shift, we are calmer and have more clarity to address the challenge at hand. We ask ourselves what we can do to fulfill the unmet needs in the situation. Use of power. We attempt to influence others in the context of connection, rather than through coercion. We want others to contribute to us out of natural giving, but never out of fear, guilt, shame, duty, desire for reward, or to buy love. We care about the needs of others as our own, and we are committed to finding solutions that will fulfill the needs of all involved. The concept of needs is the cornerstone of nonviolent communication. Examples of needs include water, air, freedom, and meaning. We hold needs as universal. Thus, expressing our needs and acknowledging the needs of others enables us to connect at a deep place of human experience and create common ground. We believe that all our actions, anything anyone ever does, are attempts to meet our needs. With this realization in mind, we are able to understand others' behavior, however baffling. We can transform judgment into empathic understanding. In a safe environment free of judgment and shame, it is way easier to come up with solutions that will meet everyone's needs. Connections first. When conflict arises, we seek empathic connection first and then the solution. We define connection as the moment where two people experience simultaneously what is alive inside of the other one. In the context of connection, we can resolve disagreements peacefully. The need for contribution. We believe that contributing to the well-being of others is one of the most powerful forces of human motivation. At times, we disconnect from our need for contribution. When this happens, we want to punish the other person, not contribute to them. To restore our need for contribution, we can ask someone to listen to us with empathy, or engage in self-empathy to help us reconnect with our compassionate nature. Interdependence. We believe that humans are interdependent as opposed to independent. We need one another to live and thrive. We believe that what affects one of us affects all of us. If a child is starving, we are all affected if we are aware of our deep feelings and the human need for the well-being of all. We need others to build houses we live in, grow the fruit and vegetables we eat, and sew the clothes we wear. We need carpenters, doctors, janitors, electricians, and teachers. Our environmental, health, and economic systems affect the global community in visible and invisible but equally important ways. There are 5 elements to the process of nonviolent communication. When we are experiencing disconnection from others, we can use this list to see if all the elements are aligned. Consciousness. Am I self-connected? Am I expressing myself honestly and vulnerably? Am I listening empathically? Am I valuing the needs of others as I do my own? And am I committed to seeking solutions that will fulfill everyone's needs? Thought. Is there judgment or blame in my awareness? Am I angry or resentful in this moment as I engage with the other person? Language. Are my words free of criticism and blame? 4. Communication. Is my non-verbal communication congruent with what I say? 5. Use of power. Do I want to overpower the person to get what I want? Am I caring about his or her needs on my own? Am I making a request or a demand in disguise? Am I prepared to listen empathically and maintain the connection? Am I willing to stay in the dialogue until we both find a solution that accommodates the both of us? A couple lives together in their apartment. Sven is in his room, blasting vegetarian progressive grindcore trash polka remixes at full volume. Paul, on the other hand, is feeling an understandable headache coming on and wants the music connoisseur to turn it down a notch. What are his options? Well, Paul could yell at Sven, turn on loud music by himself, make passive-aggressive comments at the next breakfast, destroy the speaker boxes while Sven is out feeding the homeless, ignore Sven, try to gaslight him, poison his food, curse his bloodline. You get my drift. But if they both decide to try and communicate non-violently, you get these results. Let's start with Paul. His observation is that Sven is listening to loud music. His feeling is his head hurts. His need is relaxation. and his request is for Sven to turn it down. Sven's observation would be, Paul wants me to turn down the music. His feeling would be stressed. His needs would be also relaxation. And his request would be, I want to listen to loud music because that's how I relax. Awesome, now they can try to find common ground, which can be a compromise like turning the music down, or a consensus like Paul lending Sven his headphones. If Sven refuses to respond to Paul's request in principle, he distracts from clarifying needs and the conflict persists, which violates NVC's principles of compassion, empathy, and self-respect. And obviously the same goes for Paul, vice versa. I would like to state that what I've presented here is just an excerpt out of NVC and not the whole approach. I've just picked out the things that felt the most meaningful to me. If you want to learn more about NVC, check out my sources in my description. And I gotta say, after telling you all of this, I have yet to meet the person who behaves like this all of the time. But I'm looking forward to it. What I mean to say is that you don't have to integrate this into your whole being. But knowing how to communicate non-violently, especially around vulnerable people, can save you and them a whole lot of distress. I can tell you from experience that it doesn't always work, but it works better than many other approaches, and I personally try to implement it as good as I can. And now, you can try it out too, if you want to. Thank you for watching. Do you have any questions you'd like me to answer, or borderline-related topics you'd want me to cover, or experiences you'd like to share? The comment section is yours. Please also don't forget to save the like and subscribe button from their respective feelings of abandonment, and see you next time. Be kind to one another.